What up, world? Welcome to the Av. YOLO, YOLO, the Av. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO Av. Thanks for tuning in first and foremost. I'm Dwayne Langham. I'm your host, author, and narrator for this discussion. Today, we're going to be talking about failing your way to the top. Wait, is that right? Yeah, you heard right. Fail your way to the top. Now that I got your attention, you see, entrepreneurs believe successful people are successful because they're willing to do the things unsuccessful people, everybody else, is not willing to do. Now, if you think about it, most of us have had at least one great idea, right? Why don't we hear about any soul shaking artists? How come there's no new billionaire businessmen? So why aren't there any new champions making headlines in the news every week? In my mind, there are only two things: failure and knowledge. Now that I got your attention, let's dive in and have a chat, shall we? Now, first, let's talk about how knowledge can actually help you lose. Wait a minute. Did he just? Yeah, I think he said knowledge can make you lose. I thought, like, isn't knowledge supposed to be power? Yeah, of course. Knowledge is power. Matter of fact, knowledge is man's best asset. Knowledge allows emulation. No, I'm not talking about biting or copying somebody else's style, imitation and such. When I'm talking about knowledge, I'm talking about allowing apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is the process where a master has the ability to teach. Knowledge brings on evolution. That is apprenticeship. Think about it. In today's day and age, technology expands our capability and betters the quality of life we enjoy. Did you know that technology is actually defined as the use of man's knowledge to get something done? Now, knowledge itself has two facets. First, learned knowledge. Second, action or applied knowledge. Let me elaborate. Learned knowledge is unavoidable. Think about it. You can't do anything if you remain ignorant to it. You have to learn it somewhere, right? Learned knowledge is when you pick up a book, when you listen to an audio, or somebody teaches you. This is when we step into schools, the education industry itself. You've got your learning academy, middle school, high school, universities, elementary school, junior high, preschool, college, whatever you want to call them. And then you can even step out to go into technical schools to learn a specific trade or skill. While that's all well and good, it has a tendency to also provoke getting ready to get ready. Really, with all that school out there, when do you actually begin? And that comes to some confusion of applied knowledge, actually putting things into effect. You see, knowledge in and of itself is completely irrelevant. It's not until action transfers it into applied knowledge that it's used to get something done. Otherwise, you just end up being one of those self-proclaimed experts. You know, you've seen people out there who have a book to read or their bestseller telling you how to do everything you need to be successful. Odds are the only success they have is getting you to buy that book. But when you take the step to go further, use action, and gain applied knowledge, that's when you get closer to mastery. You see, action knowledge itself is done in the process. You start off by learning something. Then you go out and do the thing. In doing that thing, you're still learning in the process. If you come back to the original source of knowledge, you'll come to find it's completely different. Perspective will change. It's like you've got a bird's eye view all of a sudden. You remember the things that you learned, you see them differently by the things you learned while doing. Now, let's get on to our second facet, failure. Here we go again. He's still going to talk about failure. For real? Yeah, I guess that's just what it is. Okay, I know you're thinking, failure doesn't get you anything. Failure? I don't want to be a loser. Last I checked, failure is losing, right? Okay. It's only when failure becomes resolution that you've embodied the failure. You become the failure. What I want you to understand is that failure is actually the process of finding the right way. Failure is the process to success. It's also the process to mastery. Take, for example, favorite athlete. Now take that athlete and put them at the very beginning of their career, wherever they first started. Junior leagues, Pop Warner, whatever. But keep them competing against their same level of competition now at the championship level. It would be a disaster, right? Over time, that athlete has been using action knowledge to refine their craft. You see, if you really think about it, it's really an art. That's what mastery is. All that time, it took practice, hard work, sweat, dedication, and commitment. It was a lot of time working on the fine details, perfecting that last step to raise the bar and get to the championship level. All in all, I'll bet you that athlete started nowhere near where they are today. They had to have coaches, competition, reasons to make them get better, challengers, and keep raising to the next level of competition. You see, this is what I mean when I say failure is necessary to reach success. Nobody goes out and gets it on the first try at everything. Take, for example, the light bulb. Thomas Edison was said to have failed 1,000 times just to invent the light bulb. If you ask Thomas Edison, he would tell you he found 1,000 ways that didn't work before finding the way that did. What about the Wright brothers down in the Carolinas? They're the reason that you see planes flying up in the sky. It took persistency to find the right way that it worked. Someone had to sacrifice, be diligent, and keep giving it another try so they could figure out how to get it done. Once you do that, that's what everybody loves. Society loves the overnight success. Everybody wants to hear about the come up. The truth is, we've become a microwave mentality, rags to riches. Everyone's looking for the quantum leap. There is no such thing as a quantum leap. Every success has a story to tell, of frustration and overcoming failures to find out how to get it done. And that's what we all admire. So all in all, failure is required somehow. It's only bad when you let the failure beat you, when you tuck tail and run back to your comfort zone, making you average. You'll never be able to accomplish it without giving it another try. For the best example in your life, I advise you just to look around and find some kids. Caution, do not go out in public looking for random kids to look at. Heard of To Catch a Predator, maybe? But seriously, the great thing about kids are they are the example of greatness in mankind. We all were there. We had to learn every single thing that you're doing today. We all started off having to learn how to walk, run, talk, even get around without using diapers. I mean, think about it. You're not going to find a baby who, after falling once or twice, is going to be like, I think I'm just going to let that walking thing go. I hear they got knee pads and everything. I think I'll be all right just crawling it through, Nah, that wasn't it. They get back up, they scamper, slowly but surely, they crawl, and eventually they learn to use those wobbly little steps and walk everywhere, jumping and getting into everything. Or even better, take a look at a child who's had to deal with a disability. No, they're not going to be sad. They've still got their whole life ahead of them. Instead of thinking about what they can do, they're so focused on what they can do. Everything. I dare you to find a child dealing with a disability that doesn't still have that childlike vigor and high spirits. With that, I leave you with a great quote from Thomas J. Watts. He said, if you want to increase your success, you must first double your failure.